Welcome to Real Estate Update. I'm Allie McNair along with James Wedgeworth. Great to see you.
It's always great visiting with you.
We are taping around the holiday season. This will air again beyond the first of the year. But I need to ask you right away, recently the stock market has just taken a tumble. The dips and dives have been dramatic and then little creep ups back. But I'm wondering how much when folks are thinking about maybe a second home or a home here on Hilton Head, that will make them say, let's wait a minute, let's see what's going to happen.
Allie, that's a great question. What we've found is markets don't like uncertainty. And there's a lot of uncertainty out there. The worst thing can happen is down 5, up 6, down 5, up 6, down 800, up 300. What we've seen happen recently, in fact, I just had an appointment with a client this morning, and he said, I've got to adjust the price on my house. I know this stock market is killing the real estate market.
That's a smart client of yours, I would say.
He is, but he's got a background in that. What it does, it makes people wait. People say, well, what's going on? I'll wait. And our second home market is traditionally made up of people that are what I call waiters. By that, I mean they don't have to buy. They have a home in Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Hartford, Connecticut, wherever. That's their primary home. And that's one of the big differences in the Hilton Head real estate market versus the real world is a large percentage of our sales are what we call second home related, where people may retire in 2 years, but they buy now and use it as a second home, then retire. Or there are people that just buy to vacation. Those people don't have to buy. So what happens, I mean, if you get transferred from Chicago to Cincinnati, Ohio, you got to buy a house when you get to Cincinnati. That's a different market. But in a second home market, people say, well, it's too much uncertainty out there. I think we're going to wait. And we're seeing that now.
You are. So what's going to make that turn around? I mean, we can't control the stock market, but is it mainly the stock market? We see these headlines now, and the media does grab onto these, more so I think when they're indicators that the economy may be weakening. They really tenaciously hang on to those headlines and really remind people of that.
About 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, there was an article on the front page of the Wall Street Journal that said real estate sales are slowing nationally. By 9 o'clock in the morning, I had 2 clients that had emailed me that article. And they were really concerned that once the press starts telling people the market's bad, then people say, well, I'm not going to buy, the market's bad. If you don't tell them, they just buy when they like. But we've seen that have an effect on the market. It actually talked about in the article, it was talking about nationally, but it was being specific as to Dallas, Texas. Because that's been an unbelievable real estate market. Yeah, that's been booming,
right?
Booming
crazy, yeah.
Booming for years. And they actually said their subdivisions, new subdivisions, that there wasn't a single house in the subdivision sold. And they were all finished. They were talking about the subdivision developers were offering free trips to Las Vegas, their vacation to the Bahamas if you bought one of their houses.
Does that work, by the way?
Oh, I think it probably works more than you think. What it actually does, it draws attention to your property.
Sure.
So what you do is somebody says, hey, you can go to Las Vegas if you buy this house. This is where's that house? And they go look at it.
So it gets the traffic through, right?
What they're trying to do is get traffic through. What they were saying is that 6 months ago, they'd have open houses and there'd be people lined up to see the houses. And now, not a single person is showing, is what the article was basically talking about.
Well, was that a second home market too?
No.
Is that why it slowed down? Or
no,
is it people are just staying where they own now rather than upsizing or, you know,
that's the primary market.
Uh-huh.
But what they were, usually when the Wall Street Journal does an article, or any real estate article, it's usually primary. I mean, the secondary market, you know, is big to us, but the rest of the world's not that big. So usually when they're talking about sales slowing down, they're talking about nationally. And it has hurt our market, unfortunately.
It's hurt it, but this is a slow time of the year. Is it not around the holidays on Hilton Head?
The holidays are traditionally slow. Now this year, usually you have little pockets, like I tell people from February the 14th to Heritage Sunday is a very busy time. Usually October and November are very busy markets up until Thanksgiving, and it slows down the week after Thanksgiving. But this year, it was much slower than normal I was actually had a client call the other day, and we were discussing his villa. He owned a Seapun's villa, and he said, since October the 1st, how many have sold? And I said, well, 11. He said, well, that doesn't mean anything. I want to know how many sold last year. I looked up, it's 22.
Wow.
He said, well, that's a 50% drop. And what was significant is, though, the ones that the 11 had sold were mainly in the lower price range. I had another client that called, and he had an oceanfront house, and he said, how many oceanfront houses have sold from October the 1st to present? And there was 0. We've never had that happen in the 37 years
How
I've
about
been
compared
here.
to a year ago? Do you know offhand? If
Yeah,
not, it's okay.
well, I
mean,
did it by price
yeah.
range, and we'd actually had one on Calabogie sale for over 2. But there had been 7 last year. So see, 7 last year, same time period, 1 this year. And I can attribute that to the volatility of the stock market. The midterms had an effect, but mainly the press saying real estate's slowing. So when the press says real estate's slowing, people go, well, I'm not going to buy real estate slowing.
It's kind of like a vicious cycle or circle that it just
people
perpetuates.
Sometimes buy real estate if they think prices increase. They say better buy today because the price is going to be more tomorrow.
Don't you feel we were kind of working towards that direction a little earlier this year, and things were bouncing back? I know you said always the lower priced homes, boom, just really got snapped up, and the high priced ones were really hanging around longer on the market.
You can look at what we call days on the market, and what we saw is in the first 6 months of the year we had a really strong market, and the days on market were less. We were listing properties, selling them. And then about August, we started seeing it started slowing. Houses weren't selling. September was rough, and then it really got slow in October and November. Now, maybe after the first of the year, but we had a lot going on. The Kavanaugh deal really hurt the real estate market because there was a lot of negative news. There was a lot of hatred.
Like how it is all the time anyway. But what I want to ask you though is, when you look at these people that were looking for second homes that are holding off, I don't want to wish bad news on us, but last go round when we had that housing market that went, you said a lot of people that were second homeowners just walked away.
Yeah.
Do you even think in those terms at this point? Are you hoping that things will get better? What are you looking towards right now?
We're not there.
Okay.
What we had back when people started walking away is we had a 35 to 40% drop in values. In real terms, if you bought a $1 million house in July of 2005, then you got ready to sell it in 2010, it was worth $650. Well, you might have gotten a mortgage for $800. So you paid $1 million, put $200,000 down, you owed $800, and I go to your house and I say, you can sell your house for $650. They go, we owe $800. We don't have $150,000 to bring to the table, so people just kind of washed their hands and said,
not fine. But you're saying we're hopefully not working towards.
What
do you see?
I don't think we're anywhere near that.
Okay. What do we need to see in order to see things pick up when they normally do come February?
After the first of the year, yeah. Well, we would need a more stable stock market. Very important.
Yep.
We need a more stable, what I call political climate. I mean, if you turn on the TV now, there's a lot of stuff going on. So-and-so's going to go to jail. So-and-so's going to go to jail. The Florida recount hurts. All that negative stuff. The Georgia recount.
The governor's recount. Yeah.
Yeah. All those
Secretary of
things
State. Yep.
Have had a negative effect on the real estate market. It is my hope and my prayer, for the sake of the real estate business in my family, that after the first of the year you will see the market stabilizing.
Okay. I don't know. It seems like these days, and maybe I'm wrong, James, the stock market is so reactionary on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis. I mean, it's so unpredictable.
As I said earlier, real estate markets like certainty. If there's uncertainty in the market, people just back, especially on Hilton. It's more so on Hilton Head than it is anywhere else, because people can back and say, I don't have to buy. But we're seeing it slow down in some of the traditionally very strong markets of the Northeast and somewhat in California.
Now, I am not a great investor by any means. Here's my question, though. If you're worried about the volatility of the stock market, and you've got a lot of money in the market and some people are there for the long term, wouldn't it maybe not. I guess, wouldn't it maybe make sense to diversify and buy some real estate as an investment? Or is it because you're thinking, well, it may go down a lot more, I'm not going to do that?
When the national press starts saying real estate prices are down, then people don't want to buy because they think they're going to go lower and they're going to wait to get a lower price. So they hold their cash. What we see in these time periods, I had somebody the other day that they said, here's what we're looking for. I took them out and showed them property. They found exactly what they're looking for at a price they liked. And they said, well, we'll be back after the first year. I said, well, don't you want to make an offer? No, we're going to wait. We're going to see what's going on. So there's a lot of waiting going on right now.
All right, well, I'll wait with you. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and we will be back with more Real Estate Update in just a moment.